So yeah, as Valery said, I'm Amar.
He said everything.
Yeah, he said basically everything. This is the award we got 2 years ago at Casual Connect, but it's broken now. It was for best game design. So basically, 2 years ago we had kind of a similar talk because we thought we're gonna release the game 2 months from there, but it took 2 more years to release it actually. So the title is Why Did It Take So Long? The Importance of a Good Title and a Look Back on 3 years of development of the Enchanted World, which was an Apple Arcade launch game. Also a little bit about us. So why is it important to have a good title? Well, we called it the Enchanted World, and there is a game that's called the Enchanted Worlds. It's really bad to Google, and also there's a lot of
popular.
Yeah, it's yeah, and there is also a bunch of books called the Enchanted World, so it's really hard to Google. So when you name your game, first tip, Google it. Google the name first. So that out of the way. Ivan, he's the artist, and told me, when you start the presentation, please show some pretty pictures first so the people know I'm a good artist. So this is these are some key arts of our main character in the game. This is promotional stuff, but it's all more or less how it looks in game in some different environments. And I will show you the final release trailer of the game so you know what I'm talking about. And then we're gonna start. So this is the release trailer of the game. So that was the trailer. So let's just start. I will tell you a little bit about us, so you know who we are. So we started making games in school 2001. Technology was really hard to get to, especially in Bosnia. We're from Bosnia. It's on the Balkans, so there's not a lot of game developers there. Basically, there's 2 of us and maybe 4 other guys, and that's it. So we started making games in high school. Ivan was making 3D models and I started programming, so we started hanging out together and doing some games, and our first game was this one right here, the dinosaur. It was called
Dinosaur in the Room.
Yeah, it was the Dinosaur in the Room game. That's all it was just a dinosaur in the room.
That's the slide that I didn't want to show the first, so you think I'm a bad artist.
Yeah, this was the first slide, but this is like 2000. So he said, yeah, but the latest stuff first. So we started doing that a little bit, and the modding. This is Warcraft 3, maybe some of you know it, and these are actually models that Ivan made and put it into the game. So after that, we took a little pause and then started making...
A decade-long pause.
A decade-long pause, how all the great artists in the video game industry do, and then they come back with new stuff. And we started first doing a small project, which was like a web project, and it was really small. And here we didn't use an engine. This is all programmed from scratch, like the particles effects and the sprite animations and everything, and don't ever do that. That's the worst decision ever. Use engines, please. So after that, I did a small arcade game, and then we did a small
demo.
yeah, here it is. A small demo of a multiplayer shoot 'em up game, which was contract work. It doesn't have sound, because we didn't pay anyone for sound for this. So yeah, but it was in the same style. It was in the same style as our future projects would be. And we made a small game which we released on Android.
I didn't ruin the trailer.
Okay. So yeah, a very action-packed trailer.
Amar says this is the worst trailer for a video game ever.
Yeah, it was like...
But because I have like a movie background, I was making short animation films before this, and then I tried to make a little short movie of 30 seconds of this. But I think now I kind of agree it doesn't work as a trailer that good.
Yeah, it's very melancholic, like directed by Ingmar Bergman or something. It's not an action-packed trailer for a game, but we made this game from scratch. So this was the first game that we released to public. We made it in 3 months, and we made it for Android and released it, and it got like 1,000 downloads, which is not great, but this enabled us, people in our country, this was like, wow, someone released a game from Bosnia, and this enabled us to talk to people, someone's seen it, and actually one of the biggest pop stars in the Balkans seen this frog game and said, oh, can you make a game and put me in it? And we said, yeah, great. So we started, he told us, make a prototype, I want to see it. And then we started making the game for him. This is actually the game, The Enchanted World. So he wanted a peaceful game, and we started making, we thought it should be a puzzle game. So even started making some artwork. This is actually this is how he looks in real life, minus the head. But actually, that's him. We designed the first level. Even made 3D models of him. He's the wizard in the game, and the basic 3D models for the tiles. So it was a tile sliding puzzle game because we wanted it to be peaceful and no violence, because his music is atmospheric, and we wanted to encompass that in the game. So the first prototype we made in 15 days. This is how it started, and yeah, adding some details, and this is basically how it looked in the end. So the first prototype was done in 15 days, 2 weeks, and it had basically everything that the finished game had. It looked like the finished game, it played like the finished game, and everything was fine. So we thought, yeah, 14 days, we can do this, the whole game, like in 4 months. Around 40 puzzles, if you get math, that's fine. And then he said, yeah, great, it looks great, let's make a deal. So I want you to develop the game. We said, yeah, we need 4 months. And he said, I'll give you 5,000 euros and 10% of the earnings, and I get 90%. And we thought, oh shit, that's a good deal. Because we're from Bosnia, it's a very poor country, and it's like 5,000 euros. 2.5%, 2,500 euros up front. We were like, oh my God, we went out of the meeting like already spending the money, and we got ahead of ourselves.
And we actually managed to get 4 extra percent. It was 14% in the end.
Then even negotiated like 14%. So we had a deal, 5,000 euros and 14% for 4 months of development. And then we started developing the game for real. Ivan made artwork like concept art for all the major stuff. We put a list of like environments we wanted in the game, and it was like desert, woods.
yeah, but actually a lot of it is inspired by actual Bosnian landmarks and architecture and a lot of stuff from Bosnia.
Yeah, actually, this bridge it's a famous bridge in Bosnia, like in a town called Mostar. Yeah, after developing all the major things, thinking of all the major things we wanted to put in the game, we even made a bit more elaborate concept art. This is still concept art, just some basic renders. And then we started developing the game, making the levels. This is actually how the process works, like with a sketch on paper and then making it in Unity. Testing it out. There was a small thing, a small debug for testing it out, but nothing too complex. And this is how it looks in a final product. This is just another level with cogs. So this is the process from 3D Studio Max, how it looks, and then in the game. And also the process on some, because we have a lot of characters in the game. The game doesn't have any text. All the story is told through animations and through environments. It doesn't have any text, any words. We didn't want to use that. We wanted it to be approachable, so anybody could pick it up and understand it easily. So Ivan did all the character designs, and yeah, maybe he can talk a little bit about
I did the characters.
Yeah, and yeah, okay.
I'm joking. This is like I think this. You see this distinct low poly kind of style. It was actually at first it was because of technical limitations, because we wanted to make this game run on Samsung S3 Mini, which is an ancient phone by today's standards. And I actually tried to don't use any shaders, don't use any advanced rendering stuff, and then we ended up with this thing which looks really stylized, and I think it's timeless in a way. But still, I think the thing that really sells these characters is the animation and the underlying skeleton and all the systems, and it's really, really amazing to see how many bones are actually here. Sometimes even more than polygons, and it just makes the thing be alive and squashy, and then sells the whole thing.
Yeah, Ivan is into bones, not polygons. So. Yeah.
No. I made films with millions of polygons, and that's I got sick of it. Now I'm just making normal stuff.
So yeah, we thought it would take around 3-4 months, but as we said in the beginning, it took more than 3 years. So why did it take so long? So when we made like a bunch of levels and started showing it to people, showing it to kids, to normal players, and most of the time, the first level, nobody would understand the first level. It was like way too hard. The first level that we created as the first level is now like the 5th or 6th puzzle. Yeah. So we had to go back and reiterate a lot. So you should show your game as early as possible. I would think show it to people as early as possible to get a hang of it. Is it too hard? Is it understandable? Is it approachable? And show it to everyone, to your mom, to kids, to everyone, to other game developers. It's equally important. So we started showing the game. Obviously, there were a lot of bugs. Something like this happened. Nobody knows what. Something like this. It just got drowned in particles for some days, and then something blew up. And stuff like that happens all the time. Then you show it to other developers, and they try to help.
There's the guy who made Monument Valley playing our
game. And we were showing him like what we made, what we stole from Monument Valley. So, and then he showed us how it really do. And yeah, stuff like this happens all the time. Especially with quaternions, they don't make sense. Or rotation, what the fuck. So, yeah, we started showing the game on conferences and here in Kiev, amongst other things. And this is how it looked at that point. It was like a year and a half into development. So the game looked pretty good. It looked almost finished. This is how it looked. These are, these are screenshots from a year and a half into development.
Remember, we are still under that contract.
Yeah, we are still under that contract. So we're working year and a half and got 2,500 euros and waiting to the other 2,500 euros when we finish the project. And our sweet 14%. And we actually made the trailer at that point with the music from the guy. We can't use it actually anymore, but So yeah, that was a year and a half into development, and that was what we showed here also last time. I think this was the point we were at. And then we applied to a lot of awards, conferences, accelerators, stuff like that. When we started, we didn't know that existed at all. So we were very naive. We didn't know there's awards for games. Somebody told us, oh, there's a conference in Croatia. We were like, conference for what? About video games. There's conference for video games, what the fuck? And we applied to it, got an award, and then we started applying everywhere. So that's another tip. Apply everywhere, doesn't matter. You will not get into everything, but it's very valuable, all the experiences.
The lady is telling you to put mic.
Oh, yeah. So it's really valuable. All the experiences we got from there, it's really valuable. So amongst other things, we applied to a game accelerator in Sweden called Stugan, where you get 2 months paid and you work there in the Swedish woods with other game developers, like 15 teams from around the world were chosen. And we were working with them under mentorship from people from the industry. Like the guy who made Candy Crush is the main guy who organizes that. And a lot of people from the industry came there, and we were, at first we didn't want to tell them a lot about our deals, and we were like, we didn't want to disclose a lot of things. But then we started to open up, and they were all nice guys, and we started to talk to them, and they were like, what? 10%? What are you guys doing? I'm like, oh, that's a good deal, 10%. He's very famous. He's a poster. yeah, it was 14. It was 14, yeah. And he's famous, and they asked us, what does he do? But he's famous, it's him in the game. But you're already working 2 years on the game, and we didn't know. We just didn't know about the deals the publisher can give you, the normal deals in the industry, because we didn't have any experience in that. We were just working in our bubble on this game, like with just the two of us. We didn't speak to any industry guys. In Bosnia, there's no community, so we didn't have anyone in our immediate environment. So yeah,
it was really like a tipping point when we realized that something is wrong and we can do much better, much more than that.
Yeah, exactly. So at that point, we started thinking like, yeah, we should maybe negotiate this deal again. So we went back to the guy and we wanted to negotiate it, but he is a big pop star and he is very proud. I mean, we spoke, maybe not record this.
But I think he didn't think that he kind of screwed us over, but he thought this was like genuinely good deal, which we also did think. Yeah. Because he doesn't know about games, we didn't know about games, we just didn't know that normal deal is like 30-70 for you or something like that.
Yeah, no, he's not a bad guy. He's a really nice guy, and he helped us a lot. but
this game wouldn't exist if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, the game wouldn't exist if it wouldn't. We put him in the credits of the game as a special thanks, but we deleted him in the patch. So yeah, we tried to renegotiate the deal, because there were publishers there in Stugan as well, and some told us it's 50-50 with publishers. Most told us it's 70-30. It depends on what the publisher does, of course. If they invest upfront in the game, if they give you money for development. We didn't need any money for development, as we were developing it in our free time, more or less. We financed it by doing some freelance work. And when we had time, we did develop the game. So that's why it took also a little bit longer than it would have. So yeah, we tried to negotiate a fair deal, and we just couldn't get to an agreement. There was no bad feelings there. So then the consequence was we couldn't use the music, so please mute the old trailer in any videos. And we couldn't use his likeness because it's a brand. He's like really famous, and we were like selling, in his opinion, we were selling his brand with the game. So
that was one of the most stressful breakups that I had, and you probably had. It's really
I
like,
almost cried. I dreamt of his son. Like his son is also he helps. He's like his managers things for him. He's really a nice guy, and he's like our age. We were like friends.
And now we just came to him and said like we don't want to do any more of this. We are going alone to do it.
And then we had like a talk for 3 hours. I almost cried, and then
we gave back 2,500 euros.
Yeah, we gave back the big money we got. I told him, Hamza, I was dreaming of you. Your head was looming over me last night.
It was all red, like lying on the table.
Yeah.
It was really stressful.
It was, yeah, as Ivan said, it was much more stressful than breaking up with girlfriends. They break up with you, so you have no choice.
You just go get drunk, but this was like following you.
This is the first time we had to break up with someone. So the other consequence was, of course, we had to change the main characters. And
I think you should hurry up a little bit.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the new character couldn't resemble the old one, so we had to change his gender. That was like the most obvious. We had to confirm it with the son, so we gave him the picture of this and asked him, does this look like your father? And he was like, no. So yeah, it's good. So this is our new characters.
But we still managed to keep the color scheme, which was really important because all of the levels were designed and you couldn't like change him to be like orange or something else. But I mean, if you look at it, it's pretty much the same, but they don't want to acknowledge that he looks like a girl.
Yeah. So yeah, this is all the bones, you see. So this was our new character, which is actually, I think, a better design than the previous character. It's more unique, and I think it worked out better for the game in the end. But funny thing is, we had to retrofit it in all the concept art.
so we retroactively changed the old concept.
So we changed all the concept art for promotion. So it includes the new character. We had to delete the other one in Photoshop.
Just paste it over. It took hours.
It took hours, yeah. So, yeah, this is, now you can see the difference. This is, again, the final trailer of the game with a new character in it and new music. So another thing is we had to find a new musician. But the good thing is...
Maybe the old one sounds better a bit.
Yeah, you don't agree? Great. We will tell it to our new musician. Because the musicians are not very expensive if you're from Bosnia, so it wasn't...
It was actual recording of the violins and everything.
Yeah, it was live musicians recording. We had a composer.
It was for like 50 euros a musician or something.
Yeah, it was 50 euros a musician because Bosnia, like 50... No, I think the violin player was more expensive because she was like really good.
Like 100 or something.
Yeah, but 100 euros. But the other ones, the cello, the violoncello and stuff like that, it was like 50 euros for the session. And yeah, we actually the new guy is like also pretty famous, but not a pop star. He plays like folk songs, Bosnian folk songs. So throughout the game, also we wanted to incorporate like heritage, Bosnian cultural heritage, and so to make it in a way distinct. A lot of products today look all American, everyone, it looks the same. So we wanted it to be in a way recognizable and use some stuff from our culture throughout the game, as well as the music, which is now based, it's not exactly folk music, but it's really heavily based on folk music from our region, from Bosnia. So this is how the game looks now. These are final screenshots. Do I have to hurry up? No. Okay. So after we broke up the deal, we thought, should we publish the game ourselves or should we find a publisher? That was like a really big question, and we put it down on paper a lot. it's really hard to publish from Bosnia. Firstly, we don't know anybody. We don't have the connections with the big companies like Apple and Google, and it's hard to get to them. They're not in our vicinity. Second of all, it's hard to make business from where you're from. Actually, you can't sell on Google Play at all. So we thought maybe go with a publisher. So we wrote to a few publishers, met someone on conferences, and one of the publishers we really like is Noodle Cake from Canada, and we ended up making a deal with them, which is, I think I can say it was 70-30. The split for us. Yeah, 70 for us this time. No.
We didn't just double it.
Yeah. So, which is a normal deal now we know it's a normal deal in the industry. We didn't need any funding up front, so we were funding the game ourselves. And we started producing the game a little bit more seriously and finishing up the levels. In the meantime, Noodle Cake was also showing the game around. They were going to GDC and stuff like that, which we couldn't afford, obviously. Showing the game to Apple, to Google, because they know them, they have the connections, and amongst other things, they showed it to Apple, and Apple told them, yeah, we are preparing this new platform, maybe this game is good for it. So tell the guys, maybe do a little more content, polish it up more. We wanted to create this platform where this was supposed to be a premium game. We wanted to create, and Apple wanted to create this platform for this kind of games, which are more handcrafted, not free to play. So yeah,
yeah, it was a problem. We couldn't get really a publisher because everybody wants free-to-play games. And we stumbled upon Noodle Cake, and they wanted this game. And then Apple Arcade happened, which just happened to be the right platform for this kind of game. So we had a little bit of luck there, just to have this unreleased game at that exact point in time. And that's why I think we cannot say liked it.
Yeah. This also has to be muted, but we were told by Apple that we can't speak for Apple. But they kind of
you cannot say Apple liked my game. You cannot say that.
Yeah, only Apple can say they like your game, so we will not say that. But they wanted to include it into the arcade, which was already a big honor, because they chose like 100 games for the launch of arcade, and one of them was ours. Yeah, these are just a bunch of final screenshots of the game. Oh yeah. This is a funny clip, but we didn't know how to include it, so it will be out of the blue.
Like a comic relief.
Yeah, but actually throughout the game, what we think is very important, we wanted the game to feel like really alive and tactile to interact with. So all the objects in the game are can be interacted with in a way. So and we think it's really important because if you interact with the game and try to tap on a tree and nothing happens, it breaks the illusion. So we try to incorporate everything to be a bit organic, and
we made everything abusable.
Yeah, and we've made everything abusable like this. Sound? Yeah, maybe it's only funny to us. So, yeah, that's all nice, but how did the game do? So, before launch, as I said, we went to a lot of conferences and got a lot of we got 6 awards and a lot of nominations for art, for game design, for different things. Also, before launch, as I said, Apple kind of thought the game is not bad, and during the launch of the new iPhone, it was shown on the big screen behind.
Yeah, this is like one screenshot from the Apple event where they released a new iPhone and they showed our game for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And we took this screenshot, I put it on Facebook, and it got like loads of likes. And now it's being used by other colleagues of us to show how you can succeed and make a game from this country, which is actually shown on a big event.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, Apple included it in some of its promotion before the launch of Apple Arcade, made articles about it, used it as key art for some stuff. We also got featured in a bigger article by CNET. This is actually our good-looking Canadian publisher, Ryan.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's really the best. Big thanks to him. Because we couldn't hop on. He was like, oh, please hop on a plane, come to Canada for an interview tomorrow.
We were like, okay, about visas and everything.
We need visas, we are from Bosnia. Oh, why don't you can come to Canada? And you couldn't explain it, so he had to write him a script. And he talked
he actually did much better than we would do.
Yeah, our English like Russian English, so we speak like Russians in American movies, so it's much better for him to make the interview. So it was a bigger article about the development of the game. CNET is obviously not like really game-focused media, but still it was a really nice article. It was also featured on GameSpot on a list 10 games you have to play on Apple Arcade.
Yeah, so it really like made an impact. A lot of like big sites featured.
Yeah, there were a lot of also some smaller sites. After the release, there were some reviews. So did it make any difference when the game was released on the downloads? Maybe, probably not a lot. The most difference I think that we had is having it featured by Apple actually on the App Store.
So they have this special section in Apple Arcade when you go to the store, and they feature one game each day or each week where they it's like a big screen. It has an animation, and then you get millions of impressions really.
Yeah. So all the media outside of the App Store didn't have a big impact on the actual downloads. The most impact on the downloads has people browsing to the App Store, and if it's featured by Apple, then it spikes. So I can't really disclose any real numbers, but this is a graph of the downloads through time. So this was the big spike, is obviously the release. The other spike you see there, it's a feature from Apple, and then it slowly goes down. It has a big tail.
These small ones, like the weekends or something.
The small spikes are obviously the weekends. So it spikes on weekends, but it still gets downloads. So it's not that. But people, it's 2.5 months now since release. And this is maybe the same graph, but this is just the play sessions, so it's a little bit bigger. Plus people still playing it 2 weeks in, so it's a little bit more than the downloads. So yeah, how did the people react to it? This is like our score, 4.3. So in the words of a famous Ukrainian from movies in 1986, I would say it's not great, not terrible. So yeah, so we would have had a better score, but we did a few mistakes releasing it. So for Apple Arcade, we had to make it available on Apple TV, on Mac and iOS. Our main focus was iOS, and we thought it wouldn't have a lot of impact. Apple TV and Mac wouldn't have a lot of impact. So we didn't put a lot of time into preparing it for exactly Apple TV. You had to be playable on Siri Remote. We made it playable on Siri Remote. It's pretty playable, but we didn't explain it right. The tutorial was really bad, and people didn't get it.
And they just go to your iOS rating and they just give you 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. They really they were furious.
And we didn't think first that the platform would matter that much, but it mattered a lot, which is obvious. You shouldn't do that ever. You should.
Yeah, but still, TV is like it isn't even 10% or something of the actual
it's a
player
really
base,
small percentile.
But it's the angry players who give you reviews.
Yeah, because people care, right? You're making the game. People care. They expect of you to put effort in every platform. Obviously, if they download it, they put in the time to download it and to try it. So that was our mistake, and we did actually get a lot of bad scores from that. So, but most of the player reaction is positive. Someone complains it's too hard because it's really hard game. But what we didn't expect is some things that happened from this whole media before the release and stuff like that. We got contacted by a lot of other media, and some not so obvious stuff happened, like we were featured on Fox News.
Of this superstar video game, the Enchanted World. They're from Bosnia, Amar Zubcevic and Ivan Ramadan. You have got to hear how they turned their childhood memories of growing up in war-torn Bosnia into a game, the Enchanted World, which was handpicked by Apple to be launched in Apple Arcade. Their story is unbelievable. Tune in today. Apple, Google, and FoxNewsPodcast.com. I need to hear what you think of this one. Listen to it, please. You don't want to miss an episode.
Yeah, this is actually like really crazy American news.
It was live, like on Fox.
Yeah, this was on Fox, but it was like actually promotion for a podcast. We spoke to Liz Clayman.
She invited us to New York actually to be a guest in the actual show there.
Yeah, she actually invited us to New York, so we maybe go to New York.
Get the visa first.
Yeah, get the visa first. But apart from that, our people from our government seeing this
this clip I also put on Facebook, and then it got featured on some of our biggest medias in Bosnia, like in the portals, web portals, and then that's how a lot of people learned about us and about the game. And then it was actually the Minister of Finance of our region who saw this, and he invited us for a meeting.
Yeah. So, and now he wants to invest in video games in Bosnia.
Like $500,000 to me. And there is nobody like we're like, you can.
Yeah. So this we didn't expect at all when we started making the game, but maybe now we have finance from our government for video games.
It's really funny how it like turns around, and you have to go to the US to be noticed by your government, and it somehow you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, so this is like one of the most amazing, bizarre and amazing things that happen. So yeah, what did we learn in hindsight? We mentioned it, for us it was the best decision to go with a publisher. We are just the two of us, and people always tell you, oh, today you don't need any publisher, they don't do anything for you. But I think for us, the publisher did a lot. They talked to Apple, to Google, to all the big companies. Also, when we had the deal with Apple for Apple Arcade, there's a lot of communication with them, which we couldn't handle ourselves and develop the game at the same time. So they took a lot of load out from us. So for a small team, I would definitely still recommend a publisher in such cases. Start testing with other people as early and often. This is very important. Also, don't put in new features 2 days before launch.
We actually released the game, and you could come to the certain level, and then you couldn't pass it at all, because I made one cinematic which was totally unimportant, just put it there, and then there was some reference in the code which just prevented the game coming, and we didn't test the level. We were like, yeah, okay, we just put in cinematic, and then we released it, and it was a week or two like that.
Yeah, we didn't know first of it, then players were, I'm here at this level, what's happening, I try to solve it.
It takes a lot of time to finish one of these levels. Even for us it takes like half an hour, so it's boring to do it all over again to see if it actually works. You just assume it works.
Yeah, it worked before, so we just did small details, changing small details, but still it was like 2 days, 3 days before release, and it wasn't a good idea. Also, what is a good idea, make something so you can test your game easily. So I made the God mode to solve the puzzles, but
like a month before.
Like a month before release. So I should have done that much earlier. So yeah, testing is really important. and all platforms are equally important. It doesn't matter if it has 10 people playing or 100,000. It's equally important because you should respect all your players equally. That's a big mistake we made. Player onboarding, also tutorials are very important, and you need to test them as well with other people, because we made a tutorial for that part. No one understood, but only we played it, and we knew how it functions, and we were like, yeah, that's obvious. There, you should slide it, but nobody got that you should slide. So also, of course, scope right. Don't make a too big game for 2 people, because yeah, before maybe I shown you at the beginning, like the guy with a sword. That was like a Witcher game which we wanted to make when we were 14 years old. So also apply everywhere for awards and opportunities. You never know what will come out of that. So that's, maybe people don't do it enough. You should do it, definitely.
You may just end up on Fox News and then your minister offers you money.
Yeah, exactly. And ask people about their experiences. Most of them, I mean, anyone who I asked was always eager to help, eager to talk about their experience and to share it. If you don't ask, you end up with a deal with 14% of the earnings and 2,500 euros, which is not bad. So, yeah, that is pretty much it. I hope it was.
Okay, if you want to play the game, actually you can do it right now. You can do it tonight at the party, or you can do it tomorrow. There we have like a stand there in the indie zone, so we have some devices.
Exactly. Thank you.
I need one micro.